So now for the college athlete, how much different is that program and workout versus what you do for yourself and the rec hoopers?
Okay, well, I'd say overall, like the volume and the total workload for the college athlete will be a lot more than myself, but you have to think of why. And I mean, we can get into that. So with the college athlete, they play on average maybe 40 games in a season, and it's
Mhm.
condensed. I mean, they most of them they take a break, they come back in August, and then they pick back up with training. But then I think right around September or so, or October, excuse me, they get into practice, right? And that
Yeah.
means you're going from maybe 5 days a week in the off season until now you get back to school, you 5 days a week, and then once October hits, like once you guys can start practicing 7 days a week. I mean, excuse me, 6 days a week. That Sundays are off days, excuse me, but you're going 6 days a week. So with their training, like you kind of have to match that. And typically in the college setting, off season, preseason, you're probably training 4 times a week. Some guys may be special cases where they get in extra work, whether they want to, whether they need to. And then once you get into in season training, as far as like the days, it'll drop down to 3, especially
Mhm.
more so for those high minute guys. But again, you're trying to equate the total volume load. So as far as like the exercises, some are very similar from a college athlete to what I would do myself. And I'll give you an example here. Like if I have a college athlete doing the trap bar jump, and honestly, the exercise, as far as like teaching it and actually executing it, I think it's very remedial. It's not hard. You grab a trap bar, and even when I coach it and explain, it's like, yo, load up and jump as high as you
Yeah.
can, be explosive, right? So if I could explain that to them, like I'm not going to handicap myself or somebody else who's playing rec ball. If you can do that movement, like, okay, cool, let's train, let's execute, let's do that movement. So
Yeah.
there wouldn't be any way I limit that, but I guess the biggest difference, what you would notice with myself doing that same trap bar jump and then them doing that same trap bar jump, they're a lot more fluid with it. And
Mhm.
you've been around like basketball players, and I was just having a conversation with one of my clients. He says, "Man, I was in the gym and I seen these pro dudes, and you can really tell like the difference, like their whole swagger and everything like that." But he was saying like you could tell when they move, when they execute a move on the court, and then I can do that same move, but it don't look as good. I'm like, hey, it's the same thing in the
Mhm.
weight room. So that trap bar jump, my execution, I'm a coach, right? Mine's probably on a good day 8, 8.5. Theirs might be a 9 on a bad day. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that would be the difference. But training's very similar. I think the biggest thing is the volume, the quality of the work, because they are elite level athletes. They're most of the time they're pretty good movers. So you see that exemplified in their training and when they move, when they execute movements. Yeah, honestly, no big differences like that. It's just the quality in what you see in an athlete, and more often than not, like their strength levels. Like you'll see some guys that you're impressed by what they could do just because they're strong physically. And how you define strength, like that could be a lot of dudes, whether it be reactive strength or just absolute strength. So like it's a difference there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, training is very similar. It's just the quality and then the overall volume. I think it's predicated for the sport.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because, like you said earlier, it's the whole sports specific thing has gone a little too far sometimes, and for the
Hmm.
most part, it's like uh probably I haven't seen your program or anything. Probably like 80%, maybe even 90% is probably the very similar stuff. You're just tweaking little things here and there to make it different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for your college guys versus basically youth guys like the high school, middle school, what's the
Hmm.
differences from there to there?
Ooh, okay, this is actually a good one. So, and with that, I think people have to understand the dynamic. So, when you're dealing with athletes in general, you have to understand some of them don't like training,
Mhm.
and you want to make that environment fun, or ultimately to get like effort out of them, to have them really put in input, to really like manipulate them, force outputs that you're looking for in training. Like you have to have buy-in, and by doing that, you got to make it fun. Whether it be the music, your personality, doing something, and like and really explaining, like, yo, the reason why you can't jump or the reason why you can't dunk, you don't have no bounce. This trap bar jump, this does that for you. Right now, I got you locked in. So I say that on the front end because from a college athlete to high school to middle school, at the end of the day, like social media and everything like that that's going on, like their attention span is short. So for me, like in a training environment, I have to make it fun if I'm really gonna like if we're really gonna use our time valuable and make our time valuable and actually using it. So I think for them with the younger kids, when I say make it fun, doing a really heavy back squat, probably not fun. Maybe, right? It might be a couple guys who like, hey man, let's see how heavy we can get. Okay, cool. But a lot of kids, they don't want to do that. Now, if I mention something like, hey man, let's do this back squat, John Morant, if you think about it, it's the same movement pattern. So if you're really trying to jump high like John Morant and really hopefully dunk one day, if I'm talking to a middle school athlete, this is something I will work on.
Mm.
And then within that, I might make a little competition, like, okay, who has the best form? Now I'm not really like making it about weight, because really at that age, it's really about executing form, right? You're still growing, you're still trying to learn movement patterns. So that might be something I gear more towards them as opposed to actual force output. With a middle school kid, I'm thinking movement quality, right? How well can you move? How well can you move under load? And then working within that, they have a long, hopefully long athletic career, history that they can work on. It ain't about like numbers or anything like that. It's more so about having that environment, creating the mindset that, man, actually working out is kind of fun. And if I do this, I actually will get better at sport. It also builds confidence, right? So I could take that to the high school level. They might be looking to get scholarship offers, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, looking to play at the next level. So now those numbers and stuff mean something more to them.
Mm.
Movement quality is still important, but now I'm beginning to look at force outputs. And then I'm looking at the longer picture. So for them, it's like, coach, I want to squat this, I want to squat that. Cool. I'm still making it a priority of movement quality. So now I'm like giving tidbits to them where it's like, yo, do you want to do more weight? Cool. I need you to execute this squat, and I'm gonna make it naturally. It's probably gonna be subjective on how I feel about it, but cool, right? That's my job. I'm the coach. But it's
Yeah.
like, yo, you trying to add an extra 20 pounds? I need you to really execute this set. You got to show me you can do the 20 pounds. If this don't look good, why would I add more weight? Very simple,
Yeah.
right? That's creating that buy-in for them. And then up into the college athlete, kind of that same mindset, but the stakes are higher now, right? So instead of me being in high school trying to get a scholarship, now I'm in college trying to get to the league or play pro. And then now with the NIL deal, right? That's another component. But I mention all these things because even though I'm a coach in the weight room, there's other things that are in play that you have to be thinking about, that you have to put yourself in their shoes and realize what they're thinking. So with that training, it's like, man, coach, like if I'm like, what is this going to do to help my opportunity? And then whether it be getting to the league or maximizing your NIL opportunity, whatever it's going to be. So if I was a strength coach in the D1 setting, and I know it's Friday, and Friday is a good day to end the week. We really be hitting some like strength movements in the weight room, but I know you kind of like, I know your personality, right? And like you really ain't vibing with the weight room like that, but you worried about your marketability and stuff like that, right? And I'm painting a picture here, so to say, if Friday's a big day, I'm hitting up our video guy, our photographer, and say, hey man, you mind coming through in the weight room? Here go our training session. And I say that because you know how some guys are, when the lights come on, they ready, they show
Yeah.
up, they show out. And people like coaches knock that, and I mean, like, it is what it is, but use that to your advantage. And so I
Yeah.
know I used to feel differently about it in the past, but because again I mentioned social media and where it is now, I know a dude's not going to perform that squat the same way with or without a camera in my hand, or
Mm.
without my phone in my hand. And again, if I'm using it, I'm gonna use that to my advantage. Yo, I need you to really try with this squat, man. Coach, I ain't really, come on, man. I'll get it for the gram. I'll tag you in it. Trust me, like your followers want to see this. Like I'm saying stuff to them like that, and it's jokes, but tell me they're not really thinking that, right? So I
Oh yeah.
mean, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, and there's nothing wrong.
So mental toughness is one of the biggest things that I know pretty much every coach preaches to the players, and also one of the biggest factors in the players' game is the mental toughness. So I know that a lot of coaches wish their players would be mentally tougher, and they struggle with teaching them and understanding, what mental toughness is to apply it to the game. So to help you guys out, I wrote a whole ebook breaking down what mental toughness is, different factors that make up what mental toughness is, and different ways that you can apply it to your life and your game, because it's a good blend of the player and the person, of how both sides of you can grow in your mental toughness. So I broke it down in the ebook, the Mental Toughness Playbook. The whole ebook is about 50 pages, a little less than 50 pages, easy to read, a simple breakdown of what mental toughness is, different factors and different areas in it that impact your mental toughness, and how you can grow and develop in there. So if you're interested in it, it's in the description below. So go ahead and look into hit that link and invest into yourself by investing into your mindset and mental toughness. Because I personally believe that your brain and your mind is so much powerful than you give it credit. So invest into your mindset, and then your body will follow afterwards. So the Mental Toughness Playbook, get the ebook below. If you tune into it, thank you. I appreciate it. If not, it's fine. Get back to the rest of the episode. See you later.